Hello, I'm Genevieve Bargello.
And I'm Eileen Wurst.
And this is CFB News. Yesterday at the Clatfartburg Mall, the grand relighting ceremony of Leon Neon took place. Leon Neon is a fun little neon guy who hangs out at the top of the West Atrium, and he announces the time every hour on the hour. Leon Neon lights were turned off in 2009, but after a lot of outcry from residents and the recent revitalization project of the mall, Leon Neon shines once again. He's there to announce the times, give your announcements on the day, and help keep Clatfartburg a mall for the man on the go.
And as part of the celebration, very few of us may remember the tri-state pop sensation Skylar Cloud and the Rainbows, who performed at the Clatfartburg Mall in the aughts, will be coming back, but with a new sound. The star is coming back to life after a viral Michaels commercial touting discounted frames that used her hit single, Famous. Skylar is shifting her bubblegum pop sound to what she's calling Weather Alert Insomnia, rebranding as Skylar Cloud and the Rainstorms. This Saturday, she'll premiere her new punk emo rock club blend in what Skylar is calling an edgier take on fame, saying, quote, "I'm taking Famous off the wall and throwing a sledgehammer at it instead. We do not recommend children come to the show as it is unrated." But that is a wrap on today's updates.
This has been CFB News.
Roses are red.
Whoa.
Violets are blue.
Blow! Like I'm Beastie Boys.
Whoa, the Clatfartburg Botanical Gardens are opening up for you. Yes, this is now entering Clatfartburg, a world-building podcast where we're expanding upon the fictional town of Clatfartburg. I'm Elaine.
I'm Felicia.
And today, we're going to create their botanical gardens. That's right. Seeds, blooms, bulbs, allergies.
Conservatories.
Create it all. And sometimes we come prepared with stuff. In other episodes, we just say, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And that's one of those episodes today.
It's one of those because there's not enough, there's a lot where it's easy for us to be like, all right, we got to come up with one or two things. But this one, a botanical garden can be so varied,
There's
Are
so
we
much
thinking
that can
botanical
happen.
garden with big house? Are we thinking botanical garden with big greenhouse? How much of a production is this? Do you know what I mean? Is this...
hedges. Really?
Totally. We haven't even
changed
What
the
about the
vibe.
fucking fountains? We haven't talked about fountains.
Oh, the fountains.
You know what I mean?
Tree houses?
This, oh my God.
Oh.
I love a botanical garden. This whole
They're pretty
episode,
fun.
every episode is wish fulfillment for us, and this is no different. You know?
You have lots of experience with botanical gardens. I've gone to a few. But
I haven't gone to that many, but I do like them,
That's right. They leave an impression.
They leave an impression. We have, I live relatively near Longwood Gardens in Pennsylvania, which is a pretty good one. It's
really good. I've been to that one as well. And it's just like, oh my God. Maybe, I guess the question is, how good is the Clatfartburg Botanical Garden?
That's what I'm stuck on. This is a point of contention because...
It could be really good. They care about their nature. But what if it is run by someone chaotic who doesn't fully know what they're doing, but was really obsessed with Versailles or something?
That's a lot of Clatfartburg, I think. I think maybe, I don't know. I feel like if it's not good, then it's just some paths with plants around it, which is not going to make for a very interesting episode. Because a not good botanical, a bad botanical garden is still pretty good. Because then a bad botanical garden is I'm just at a cool park. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just imagined a poison ivy tunnel.
Yeah.
There's giant archway with trellises, and it's all poison ivy.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And maybe that leads into the villain's garden.
Yeah, I definitely think this place is... high budget, not super cheap to enter. Do you know what I mean? I do think that because otherwise I don't think this will be an interesting episode.
No, yeah. I think I would like it to be hostile to people visiting. I think it's very much don't touch that. Don't get closer to smell that. Back off. Wear gloves if you're going to get near the strawberries. It's just really intense.
Yeah. I did think about what if they had a dark ride.
I mean, I'm always ready for a dark ride.
Look, I went down my every 6-month rabbit hole. I watched some videos of dark rides, and apparently I just cry now when they end, even if I don't care about the ride. That's a fun new thing for me. That's just, I guess I'm more in touch with my emotions now or something.
Hey, that's good. That's healthy.
But I did think about that. Like, you know how Hershey's has the chocolate world outside with the one dark ride? That's, I don't know, maybe something with that. We don't have to do it. But I did think about it because that does not match with Botanical Gardens. And I feel like...
I think that would be a fun addition.
Yeah.
You know?
We haven't indulged our dark ride love yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then you get to have all the weird, like, nocturnal plants. Just like, what do zoos have? But then replace it with plants. I love the dark ride.
Dark ride or, like, really shitty shows.
Ooh. Maybe the dark ride shuts down in winter because it costs too much to run. And then that's when the shows happen. Which
is funny because you would think it would shut down not in winter because that's like the one thing that would be open and the same all the time.
I guess it depends. I guess it would depend, but I don't know. Maybe it's budgetary. They're like, we shift it around. Like, we can run this, and then it's
maybe
like,
the dark ride is like $6 to run. Yeah. It's not free. It's not included with the price of admission. No. It's absolutely not.
Everything is an additional cost at this place.
This place fucking sucks.
When it's winter, the hot chocolate is $5, and it is still in a styrofoam cup.
This place is cool. Like, it's nice to go there once, but most people are like, yeah, that place is kind of a fucking scam. Like, you are much better off to go to a Faxville Botanical Garden that's a little bit more modest.
Yes.
I think this is maybe one of the first cases of, like, inappropriate commercialization in Clatfartburg, where, like, there's a lot of, and I think this maybe has some corporate investors who don't really get the spirit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just trying to maybe, like, make their brand look eco-friendly in a way. So they're like, we also sponsor the Botanical Gardens, but it's, like, not as, like, you know, it's not like we plant a tree for every, like, one thing we do or something. It's just more like, we have a garden in this random town, but we take photos to make it look really cool. Like, if the sun has a little sun flare over a stem budding up, you know, they just have a bunch of lima beans. This place is not engaged in
conservation work. It is not. No. There's no, like, gardener training program. There's none of that shit. This place is like, it's trying, maybe they've pitched themselves at meetings as the Dollywood of the Botanical Gardens, and everyone's like, nobody wants that. That's not a thing people want.
It's okay. So I'm imagining it's very tacky, but still looks formal somehow.
Yes. There's something wrong.
Very,
I'm trying to think.
Like the way that, like, what is it? 1950s, 60s, the way you have like a pink bathtub. You know, and like the way that like tiles and stuff, like it's still like a look and it's put together, but it does, you know, and in a fun way. But it is, you know, you're like,
it's like, I'm trying to think. It's almost even worse that there's one thing I'm thinking of in Nashville. There's the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, which I know, I agree, and but it has this big atrium that's like a botanical garden inside, and even that's somehow not, even though it does feel like a gross misuse, but that place is free admission, and that's the thing, you know, to get into the botanical gardens, and that's the problem, you know.
Should like a used car lot be sponsoring this? And there's this rundown like sedan out front that they kind of put fake flowers in. Yeah. But it's rusting. No one's cared for it. So it's, you know, you can imagine it's like, oh my gosh, this like old timey car and it has beautiful flowers growing out of it. Like, what a vibe. But like, imagine now, like, you take off the filter. The flowers are old, dusty. They've been beaten down by weather. I imagine they're not like made of wood or metal. These flowers were like your classic fake flowers. But they haven't been updated. The car is rusting. There's probably a raccoon that lives inside of it, you know, like it's not cute, but that's like the first thing you see when you're about to enter, you know.
This place is kind of obsessed with adding new things, but not really taking care of the things that are already there.
They just keep shifting around. So in a way, it's like a weird like time thing. They're like, oh, and now the new area over here. It's like a crop rotation of shitty ideas.
That's what I was going to say.
I love that.
And after like a year, after like 3 years, everything is completely refreshed. Like they're like, people are like, you do never get the same experience twice because it's so fucking chaotic there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's like one section of land they can never try to grow on again because they messed it up so badly. They somehow like made the ground toxic, and they're like, well, that has to be closed off for 20
And now
years
that's the restaurant.
Oh yeah, come get your oh my gosh, they need stupid flower names for all their like they have hot dogs, and then like they
your
can be like
cattails.
Cattails. That's so good. Because when you think of food in a garden, you're thinking of little sandwiches.
I'm thinking of
peas. You know, you're thinking of the fresh vegetables.
Why do you look at me like that? That's what I think of when I think of food and garden.
No, I was.
So sue me for being a vegan stereotype.
No. It was a 180 for me. Like, you're right. I was just thinking, like, what would I have at a tea party? And the idea of a nice little bowl of peas next to the little sandwiches and the scones.
Actually,
like,
I'd be into it.
I hate peas.
How dare no?
You dirty omnivore.
You fucking idiot. No, no, peas are lovely. But anyway,
they have a bowl of peas. No, they have a cup of peas. You get it in the same styrofoam cup.
It's actually a mug of peas.
A mug of peas. Are they good at recycling here? You would think they would be. But
no,
it just goes to the dumpster.
It's all styrofoam, baby.
It's styrofoam all day.
All plastic.
Plastic. Cutlery.
Plastic. And believe it or not, they host weddings.
They host weddings.
And it is
stupidly expensive.
You can get officiated by Lisa the Leaf.
Lisa the Leaf, their mascot. Yeah. That is just a woman wearing a green turtleneck and a green tulle skirt.
And it's a different woman every day.
No, they just have to. Sometimes
she's like a shitty leaf mask on.
Yeah, it looks so horrible. It's like, are you a superhero? And it's like, I'm a superhero for your body.
And you legally have to have Lisa Leaf as some part of the wedding. She doesn't have to officiate, but she has to be some part of the wedding. So she ends up being a lot of people's flower girl.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing for the children.
It's a bummer. Or she just has to creepily stand behind the officiant.
Yeah. Or you can make her best man.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, if it's like, hey, you don't have anybody close in your life, Lisa Leaf is here.
You can make her the ring bearer, and she'll make a nice pun about tree rings. That's fun.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good.
It's classy.
It's nice, yeah. And like you know, I imagine the wedding setup, it's maybe in one of the off-season crop rotation sections.
Yes.
It's like, this wedding season's theme is rusty pails and buckets.
Yeah, it's a mandated theme.
We try to make a metal garden because we're used car section. So they just have all the used car parts and then all of these just decaying flowers, but they try to go back and just spray paint them. And it's like, whoa. So it's wild, but you can get a string quartet.
And believe it or not, this place is extremely formal and high class, despite all this.
Right?
Despite all this. It may sound like a family fun farm that you go to, and you go to a corn maze at. It's not that, though. Somehow, it's nice.
Yeah. Now,
but it's also not.
How are they in business, you may ask? I think you get a decent deal on a used car if you show that you bought a ticket and went through the Clatfartburg Botanical Gardens or whatever this thing's named. And if you get a picture with Lisa Leaf, you get a free pair of fuzzy dice. But it's hard to catch Lisa Leaf.
I think this place gets a lot of out-of-town crowd. I actually think it does pretty well, but I think it's not the Clatfartburg natives. It's out-of-town people. It's a
tourist trap of just shittiness.
Yeah. There is some parts of the Botanical Garden that is nice. Like, there are things that are cool, but it is not at all justified. Like, it does not justify its own existence. Like, there's, like, picture the things you like about Botanical Gardens. I would say that's about 40% of this place. Like, I think it has to be like 60% of it. And then there are these 4 wings, okay, on these opposite sides that are the crop rotation areas. And that's where the weird shit happens. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think this place won't make any fucking functional sense unless like 60% of it is like nice. It's just like nice and normal.
Yeah.
That's like your standard botanical garden. There's like a nice greenhouse. I'm sure there'll be some weird shit in the greenhouse. We'll talk about it. But like the main area of the greenhouse is nice. Okay. No notes there.
Yes.
And like, there's a lot of people who I think maybe to go to the shit areas, you have to walk a little further, and a lot of people just don't hit them. So they're like, had a great time, lovely time. And they don't experience Lisa the Leaf or the poison ivy garden or
Yeah.
whatever else we're about to pitch, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. I love that. And I feel like they hate sandals. If you're wearing sandals, they hate you. And they want you to be careful to not step on the worms if it's raining because it's free labor. Worms are free labor for the
employees.
dirt. They talk about the worms like they're their employees and they have an employee of the month, you best believe.
Oh, I actually kind of like that. I would love that if I went in a place and there was an employee of the month with a real human on it, and then down below at a little worm height, there was another picture of employee of the month of a worm.
This worm of the month
happy.
Is Lloyd. They have like little fairy garden furniture and they'll pose Lloyd in like a beach chair. Lloyd might be in a little toy car.
Yeah. And it's just a rubber worm they bought, and it's the same rubber worm every month. But, you know, it's still fun.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a rubber worm they put googly eyes on.
Oh, my God. I love that. And it helps, it helps children maybe not be afraid of worms, or it instills the fear of worms in some kids. It's a 50-50 chance either way. So sometimes Lisa Leaf will wear a worm boa, so to speak. The way of Britney Spears with a snake at the VMAs, but make it a worm.
Okay, so a large worm. I was actually more disgusted by thinking of lots of small worms.
Oh my God!
That was really
She waits
gross.
for the
that made
sun
me
to
have
come
a
out.
visceral reaction.
All of the worms on the sidewalk are crispy, and that's when she begins. But they're not crispy. The talking bass, to be clear.
No.
Crunchy. No. So Lisa Leaf sucks, but I feel like a worm with a leaf. Lisa Leaf fucking sucks. What's up? My name is Brad, and I'm here to take down the Clatfartburg Botanical Gardens. That's right. I think there's a body buried in here, and today we're gonna find out. We're gonna walk a mile out to one of the older sections that's never been touched. It's the shrubbery shim section where the shrubs never fully grew and they're really tiny. But
and they gave up.
They gave up, but they still had all the like trellises and sticks ready for like all these plants to grow. But it's just a bunch of like gardening hardware. But it does have like weirdly nice things around it too, and it just is like creepy. In a way, and they're like, where's the bodies?
The corporate higher-ups won't let them close anything because they're like, that's money on the table.
Yeah.
We put money down for it, we're keeping it open. Nobody fucking walks over there.
Press. Oh, I love that. Should we dive into the greenhouse and what's in the beautiful section of this botanical garden?
Yeah.
Like what actually brings the heart of this place?
Yeah. It's a great question. Side note, mermaid shows. They have a mermaid show. They absolutely have a mermaid show. Oh,
hell yeah. And that show is fucking banger. Like, it's good. It's good. So maybe they have, like, a long rectangle pond somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, and then, like, people are throwing their pennies in there, and they're like...
And it's, like, obviously Ariel. You know what I mean? Like,
it's off-brand Ariel. She's like, my name is
Muriel.
My name is Muriel the Mermaid. And sometimes I lose my voice. And she just went, I lost my voice to a sea wench. A sea wizard.
Yeah. But that's just a side note. I think also they kind of lose the plot on what educational means. There's definitely a lot of that here.
Yeah. Do school field trips come through? Is this like sanctioned for school field trips?
I would say not Clatfartburg school trips, but maybe some Faxville.
Yeah, the Faxville people come
Nobody
over
in Clatfartburg respects this place. You know what I mean?
No, like, the Clatfartburg Museum has nothing to do with this.
Like, if you're talking to someone and they go, yeah, I went to the Botanical Gardens last week, you're like, okay, fucking tourist. Somebody's fucking new. You know what I mean?
Like, wow, you got ripped off.
And anybody who's there will go, I went to the Botanical Gardens. I know. If they're from the area, that's how you have to say it.
Like, my grandma was visiting.
My niece came into town. She wanted to see the gardens. And look, we know the first 40 minutes is nice, and we didn't take them to the other areas,
Yeah,
so
it's like we just enjoyed it.
We avoided the poison garden, and if you avoid all that, it's not a bad time, but
it's pretty nice.
You really got to plan it out.
Do we think they laid it out in a way that makes sense? Or
No.
did they go like, it's alphabetical, or it's like all based on colors? You know, if it's alphabetical, that could be insane.
The alphabetical greenhouse is extremely funny. They're like, learn your ABCs as you walk through the plants and trees. But like, the problem is like that it's not really thinking in a way that's like symbiotic, and it's creating these environments that are not related to real life whatsoever.
Bluebells and bonsai trees.
Yeah. But they like try to make it work like it would be natural, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
you know?
and they have weird, like, sometimes they have to have weird divisions because some plants need to be in a colder environment and others need to be really hot. So it's just
like a fucking, like, one's like Han Solo frozen in the fucking ice, you know?
Yeah.
What I mean? You know?
They have a bunch of really awkward, tall, like, plant stands and shorter ones because they have to, like, layer them. So some they're like, okay, they can't get as much light. So if we put the ones that need more of the light, we put them on top of those.
They have a few where
under.
it's like this big rock structure and they're growing out of the rocks. Like, I think they do make an attempt to try and make it look like this is an environment where they would be naturally growing. And it's like, this makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah. And they don't have enough signs about
There
stuff.
would
Like,
not
they probably
be
have one
a papaya
plaque.
tree over top of a field of pansies. Stop. You know?
You know, the poppies and the pansies
And the peanuts.
and the peanuts. The peanuts.
And not
And
a
then-
showpiece. Not a showpiece.
Now, do they put the cashews and everything in like the peanut section? Yeah, they let go of the alphabet at that point. They're like, we
Yeah.
can't fit the
Well, no,
almonds.
they actually put them all in the nut section. There's a nut section.
There was a big debate about the peanuts and the nuts.
yes.
Huge debate. They were like, where do they go in the alphabet? Unnecessarily long debate.
And then there was one guy who was like, well, then why don't we put just all the vegetables in the V room? And they were like, get the fuck out. You're not a serious person.
They're like, you can't just lump the majority of plants into one. Should we just put all the flowers under F?
Should we just call the whole place P? And call
Should
it
it
plants?
just be P garden? Plant garden?
Piss garden? Pea
Lisa,
garden?
the person who came up with Lisa Leaf, like stands up, flips the table, and is like, I'm out of here, and then starts the Faxville Botanical Gardens that are actually beautiful.
Those are lovely. Those are stunning. This is like the one area where Clatfartburg is shit. This is not their pride and joy. This is a shit moment. Do we think that it was supposed to be alphabetical, but there was such a big fight over it that it's just called the Pea Gardens now? It's like, see all the plants.
Really good.
Yeah.
Oh
They
my
were
gosh.
because they were tied to the botanical concept, but tied to the alphabetical concept. But they were like, these things won't all work in these rooms. They need to be in different rooms because of climate. So they were like, well, we can keep it alphabetical if we just call them all plants, which means nothing has labels, nothing has anything, and there's just a bunch of like, you walk into a room, it's like, plants are good for you and me, as they're nice for our eyes to look and see. Plants go in our bellies too. Yummy yum and toodle hoo. That's all I had. I couldn't come up with anything
They're
else.
like, make sure you go to the loo and don't pee in our pea gardens.
Don't pee
Thank
before you do.
Did you know that urine sometimes is actually damaging?
This was their, like, maybe this was their revamp. Maybe this was their, actually, no, this is what I think it was. There was a normal greenhouse, and the higher-ups wanted to do a rebrand, and they said, can you do it alphabetically? And they said, no. And they said, we'll do it anyway. So that's how we got the pea gardens.
That's good.
So it's just this, like, loose reskin that no one likes, you know?
I love it. Okay, I guess I
And
think
there's
we
a
talked
bunch
about
of
this.
there's a
Have
bunch
you-
of news posts that's like the corporate ideology and rot has infected the greenhouse, you know?
Yes, it's so weird because we're looking at all these beautiful plants, but there is a bunch of like weird sponsorship things like throughout.
Yeah.
And you're like, why am cars and plants? I'm not thinking of it, you know? I would love for the way that when you do a cavern tour, they always show a stalagmite, like one that you can touch so you can see how your human hands destroy things just by touching them. I want there to be two plants. One is that the dog who hangs out there pees on it every day. One is it's not in a... Do you understand? They hate dogs, which is really divisive. They go, dog urine kills around 100,000 plants a year. No facts are backed up. About 100,000 plants a year.
Do they bring a dog in every
Don't
a
let the
dog
dogs
in
out.
every day to piss on the plant?
Yes, it's a Frenchie. That's too nice. It should be like a mixed breed Chihuahua. One of those ones that's so ugly it's cute. And like we stand the dog. It's not the dog's fault.
One of those ones that looks like it's about to spontaneously combust.
Yeah. Yes.
Where it's like you're holding stuff in, buddy.
It's going to live until 30.
It's a dog that looks like it's been through some sort of war, you know?
Yes.
Like a dog that needs to go, like, would benefit from traumatic journaling. You know what I mean?
It has a silly little walk. It's so again, it's so ugly. It comes back to being cute. It has a great personality. It does bark in an insane way.
Like a dog,
it's like a screech bark.
Like a dog that feels like if it was a human, it would eat only Lorna Doone cookies.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah. Now, who owns that dog? Is it the person who hates dogs? And this is like a dog he inherited from like somebody?
I think that's too mean. I think
maybe the dog just has his own little house and gets fed and just lives in the gardens. Sometimes people they'll tell the kids
dog.
They're like,
and his name is Piss Dog.
His name is Piss Dog.
And he's a senior they adopted from the shelter.
Oh, that's cute.
Henry Piss Dog.
Henry Piss Dog. His name was Henry, and then they made it, this is Henry Piss Dog. His urine is toxic. And then the kids get a little weird, and then like if you're going into like the metal, you know, the abandoned metal garden or wherever, I mean, Henry Piss Dog is scampering around, but they're like, the evil gnomes come out if you touch the plants, so don't do it, kids. And then they dress up Henry Piss Dog in a little outfit that's so cute, but it looks like a gnome, and the kids scream.
They scream. They scream at that.
They scream, and the awful parents laugh about it. You know, and they're like, it's so funny. We got you last time with it, too. We did it again. Ha, ha, ha.
Are they sicking Henry Piss Dog on them?
Well, I don't think Henry Piss Dog is doing. I think Henry Piss Dog is just trying to like chase a mole.
He's just minding. There are
frolicking with a
butterfly.
There's frolicking with a moth.
Yeah, there's moths.
Moth.
There's so much going on here that we could unpack. Does Henry Piss Dog only piss on that plant? Has he been trained that well that he knows to only piss on that plant?
He has been trained to only piss on that plant. Now the problem is he trained to piss on that spot, or if he sees that plant anywhere else, is he going, that's where I gotta piss? Well,
they only have one plant and the other one is covered by a cage, so he can't get at it. But the problem is this dog drinks so much water from the stream that runs through the like Asian plants exhibit that he's pissing buckets. So there's just kind of a puddle around the plant. So sometimes you come in, you're like, there's not a plant here, that's just a puddle. And they're like, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. They're toxic. Yeah. And they're like, it's not realistic that a dog would pee on the plant every day for years. That's not how this works, you know? And then one time they had to kick a guy out during the after hours adults night where they did a gala to make more money. And they had some singer come in, and one guy got drunk and he pissed on the plant. And they were like, our data is no longer sound. And they had to restart all over again. An unknown human pissed on the plant, but someone came in and smelled it. And this doesn't smell like Henry Piss Dog.
I know Henry Piss.
Henry Piss Dog's piss. And this room reeks of dog piss.
I was thinking it would be fucking hilarious if Henry Piss Dog is like in a healthy dog way, you know, the way dogs used to be hunters and stuff. He's eating little niblets, and sometimes he's eating things that have different nutrients. So what if as he's peeing, he's actually created a new strain of plant over time? Because they rotated one out because they were like, okay, it's like super dead. Let's get the medium dead one and like show it again so it's more powerful. Yeah. But it's been in the back of this house, or they like throw it somewhere.
They replace it every month or something, yeah.
Yeah, so they like throw it out. But, you know, plants will do this sometimes. You're like, oh, you're dead, and you like throw them out or whatever into like a backyard, and they start like thriving. So somewhere there's just like secret, like the golden bush, and it's this new strain that hasn't existed.
Yeah,
and it's about to bear fruit.
He pissed on it so much it became weed.
Yeah, but oh my god, yo, let's hit the bong with that Henry Piss. Yo, you want to get pissed tonight? Yo, let's get pissed and then go to Hunchies. I got munchies for Hunchies.
It's like dog who smokes 8 packs a day.
Yeah. He's a gold mine. Literally.
Wow.
Gold mine. So Henry Piss Dog is actually loved by a certain
Henry Piss Dog pissed on a pant so much it became weed.
It became weed.
We're in sci-fi now.
I was like, and that's how marijuana's made.
And kids, that's why you can't let your dogs piss and they have to do an anti-drug campaign.
It makes weed.
Do you want to look like this? And it's a picture of Henry Piss Dog. This is what your brain looks like on piss. This is so stupid. This is so fucking dumb. Oh my god. What percentage of this episode is going to be talking about Henry Piss Dog?
It's I think an appropriate amount. Oh my god.
Henry
I just
Piss
imagine
Dog
there's some
would be a
silly
ring
stuff in the
bearer.
bathrooms. There has to be something stupid in the bathrooms. Oh my god, that's so amazing. I love this ugly little dog.
Yeah, what do we think about the bathrooms? Are we thinking bad murals? Bad murals?
I'm thinking it's one of those bathrooms where it has stalls and then you, like, maybe the mirror part looks good and then you go in the bathroom and it's one of those things where the toilet paper roll is on top of the toilet, the basin, and you're like, oh,
and it's like you keep going to these types of places and every time I'm like, I didn't think toilet paper could get worse, and yet here we are.
Yeah, because people, I'm sure there's like an interactive part at one point, so you have dirty hands.
There was one time recently where I fully used a paper towel as a toilet paper because I just was like, probably at this place it must be this bad quality, and then found the toilet paper after I had made my infraction. It was quite embarrassing. But that's the kind of quality in America I've come used to. Let's get it better.
Yeah, honestly, public toilets could be better. Why is it always sticky?
Exactly.
My shoes are not made of Velcro.
Shoes.
Why are we acting like
okay,
this?
that makes sense. I thought you were talking about
you don't get on all fours and just on a bathroom floor.
No, I don't.
Fun. I did think once I did.
That's Henry Piss Dog's territory.
That's Henry Piss Dog's territory. I was once at a brewery.
Oh my god! Wait, you're in the bathroom and he stands outside your stall.
But he's tiny enough. He just like pops his head in and he goes,
yeah. And you're like, and it's like when you're at a friend's house and the dog gets in the bathroom and you're like, whoa, I don't know you. You don't know me. You're a stranger to me. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like locking eyes with an animal as you're going to the bathroom. It's
a vulnerable position, and having that happen while you're at a fucking botanical gardens, unprecedented.
And not a good one.
No, not a good one.
You know, like it's not a good vibe. So I love that. Wait, that suggests that the bathroom doors have doggy doors.
Well, I was just thinking, there's kinds of bathrooms, though, that, like, you know how in a lot of public places, they're just kind of open corridors in the bathroom?
Oh, yes.
I feel like it's one of those.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Oh my god, wait, do you think they have... Okay, no, this is too many piss jokes. I was saying, do they think they bring the piss in to have a big piss plant that's in each bathroom that they dump piss on?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
From the toilets?
We're entering trashy beach souvenir shop where they have like baby sharks in jars. We're entering a bad
As I said it, I realized how bad it was, but it was funny to think about.
This
is not a piss theme location. It was brought up in a meeting and they rejected it. We'll say that.
Yeah, and they were like, "No, Greg, you're being weird."
Yeah. Please rescue me out of the piss pit. So
yeah, let's get out of here. I'm imagining, you know how some places have little butterfly gardens in these places?
Yes.
I'm enamored by the idea of a moth garden because I'm terrified of moths. But that just seems like the little bit of quirk. And like, are moths cheaper than butterflies on the market? I have no idea how that functions. Or they have butterflies, but their butterflies have actually never gotten to become butterflies. They're just stuck as cocoons. And it's creepy as fuck. I hate cocoon. I'm freaked out by butterflies as well. Yeah, I know they're pretty, but if they land on your skin, you look at them like, it's so gross. It's so horrifying.
I find it a lot. Just anything that flies near me, I'm on edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just have had too many moths drown on my body because I got out of the shower or I got out of a pool and then they flew into me.
I thought you were saying they literally drown.
Well, they kind of do. Like, if a moth's wings get wet, they can't fly. Like, I think the same works with a butterfly. And then they're stuck on me, and then I'm having to, like, peel it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have a lot of moths, which means they have a bird problem. Oopsies. But the moth garden is pretty cool at night, actually, I imagine, if they get some good... If you're into that.
Yeah.
You know, so I imagine they have that. And then... we mentioned an interactive section of this. You know, the kids section. You know, they're like, oh, come craft, or like, come on Earth Day and plant your own beans. So they go to a grocery store and they buy a random bag of beans.
Yeah.
And they go, these came from our garden. They say our, but they make it, it's actually a garden, not our garden, but they're told to like just kind of mumble the word. So it's like, it came from our garden, and it's organic and fresh. And what you're going to do, kids, is they have the styrofoam cups. And like, you're going to scoop up some dirt, not fertilizer, it's just dirt they got from a bucket in one of the old zones. And like, pack it in there, put in the plant, the little bean, pack it in there. And then the parents go, yeah, what's the instructions? They're like, just water it every day and put it outside. And they're like, oh, okay, like how much water? Like, just every day. Like, wait, what? Make sure your dog doesn't pee on it, and soon you'll have a beautiful flower.
How important that is, kids.
Yeah, like, you have a beautiful flower. And they're like, but that was a bean, not a seed. And they're like, oh, beans and seeds are actually the same thing. Did you know? Did you know beans and seeds are the same thing?
Can you grow a plant from dry store beans?
My friend did it. She threw some black beans on the ground, and then some of them started growing.
Wow. Okay, so it can happen.
Yeah, no, it was a mind-blowing event. It was Cameron, friend of the podcast. Wait, so they do that. They're like, and now make a wish and throw some beans on the ground, and they're going to grow. And then they do, and then they have a chili cook-off.
Oh, that's fun.
That's actually kind of cute. Okay, so they do have like a fun little bean garden that's what functional.
We're saying. There's like 50 to 60% of this that is good. And we're not going to be talking about those parts because they're not interesting. Just imagine a good botanical garden you've been to or what you think one might be like. That's what it's like. That's 50 to 60% of this. And the rest of it is Henry Pissdog and Lisa the Leaf and those sorts of things.
Like, I think they have a lovely fountain, but it only works half the time.
Yeah, because
the other part of the time it's like those water fountains, like the drinking water fountains when you hit a button and like it's only barely gurgling up. I feel like occasionally that's what their main feature piece will do. So it's still beautiful. It's got a beautiful statue or whatever. It's Crispy shooting water out of his mouth, but it's just not
gorgeous.
It's
Do you
beautiful.
think they tried to make Crispy the flounder of the Ariel show, but it's just like one of those shitty pool toys where the thing goes, where the tail goes back and forth, and he goes in circles and he keeps running into walls, and they took him out after a month and a half?
100%.
Yeah. Do we think these places have to pay licensing for Crispy? This is something we haven't talked about.
Maybe they should.
But maybe it's just not in vogue to actually invoke the Crispy copyright infringement. Like, that's just not a thing that's done, you know?
They're like, this is Rixby. Rixby the flounder.
This is my opinion. I think the copyright is managed by the Clatfartburg Town Council at this point. And they have given it to most places. They did not give it to this place.
Yeah. They were like,
we did not get it.
The fact that you're calling yourself the Clatfartburg Botanical Garden is already bad.
If we could sue you for that,
we would. Because we hate your used cars. They suck.
We hate this. This fucking sucks.
You're into gardens? That's right, because you sell lemons. So, look at that.
Yeah.
I imagine... I was like, in the gift shop, because you and I love a gift shop.
We love it.
You can buy a full-sized pitchfork.
Okay.
You just buy a pitchfork just for fun. Any age, go for it.
You don't need a license.
You need a license. And Clatfartburg, Clatfartburg law requires a license. Pitchfork.
We need a harsher bans on pitchforks.
Hey, look, if my kids can wield a fork, why the hell can't they hold a pitchfork? I don't understand. Let me have my rights, man.
Yeah.
There is at the
don't let them take away your pitchforks.
Yeah. They have like a pitchfork pea special where you can get like maybe like a forearm sized pitchfork, and they've just speared the peas on each little
okay, we've been talking so much about piss and peas that we need to...
Oh, okay. How about lima beans? Lima beans get stuck on the little forks.
I think maybe it is the pea pitchfork, and people, when they hear people talking about it, they're like, is that affiliated with dog? And they're like, no, it's garden peas. garden peas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a place in the greenhouse, there's a connected restaurant called the Petery.
That's really good.
And it's all pea themed.
That's so
PEA
good.
themed.
You have like
snap peas,
Piedmont?
chickpeas,
pea moss,
pea moss, other desserts and foods that have pea in them.
What's that one scent? It always has sweet pea. It's just dessert. It's dessert peas.
Yes.
It's like Dippin' Dots, but peas.
Exactly. And they're just frozen with sugar on top.
That's so horrible. That is the worst. That sounds like
they're so
middle
sweet,
of nowhere
it's
Midwestern
just like
potluck
dessert.
dish. We love our Dippin' Dots, our peas and pots. Okay, cool. So that's good. And then maybe I would like to dive into the poison ivy tunnel and where it leads, because I do love the idea of an evil garden. Yes, so I would love for there to be like a poison garden.
Yeah.
But it's basics. So it's like poison oak, poison ivy, and then they have one random they throw in there that's not poisonous. And so if there's like a tour guide or like a helper, they go, actually, I've worked up my immunity. And he goes up and he touches it and he's just like, yeah, look, I'm fine. But sometimes they grab the wrong plant. Come in the next day.
Oh, no.
And it's like, oh, no.
I was thinking about, though, the only other alternative to that is maybe they got so, like, health and safety regulated that there's so much barriers that you can't even see the plants.
That's true. They're like in those like little zip
yeah.
You know how the DIY like, you know, greenhouse gardens that are zipped, so
you
they're
can see
through
a silhouette of them.
Yeah, and they're far away and they're like, we need you to wear a face mask and gloves at all times.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
And then you
no
open
sandals.
the thing and you expect it, and there's like 3 layers of wire, like chicken wire in between you and it. And you're like, at this point, I can just go in the woods and look at this, you know?
And that's where the kids make the whole thing. They're like, what are they hiding out there? I heard that they have the bodies back there. I bet there's something cool back there. So all the high schoolers try to break in.
Those guys are guests on the Public Museum of Clatfartburg Big Bang Theory recap podcast.
Hi, everybody.
We're here on the main feed. You guys
boyfriend.
don't know about this, but check out our bonus content for some explanation on that.
It's the bonus episode for the Clatfartburg Museum.
Public Museum, yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's basically spooky, dangerous, but it is still underwhelming. It's not like, oh, they have so much. It's just like, and you did one little turn and you're back. How do they, this is so important. What kind of hedge art do we have?
Oof. Woof. Do we think they try and cater to kids but they're like a little too late? So there was like Minion hedge art in like 2021, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it feels like it takes down the caliber of the place, you know?
Yeah, and it's not, it's just someone out there with a full-on chainsaw. So it's impressive considering.
Yes.
I think it's people who have never done it before and don't have the know-how, and it is impressive what they've pulled off, but it's still
It's like the
bad.
winner of your office's pumpkin Halloween carving contest, but not a national champ, you know?
Yeah. So, and then also some things you're like, what is that? You know, they're like, oh, well, we made the mermaid. That's Mariel. And they're like, I thought that was an elephant trunk just by itself.
There's definitely a few that were planned to be something else, and then upon opening, they were like, all right, guys, we've got over here, it's a big hot dog.
You see?
It's a big hot dog.
Isn't it fun? Go take a picture by it. Go do it. Go do it.
Over
take
here?
a photosynthesis over
And over here, this is an iPhone. It's just like
and
really
over here
basic
is
shapes.
a coaster.
We've got a cup. Just
A
like
nice cup.
And over here is a pea.
It's a pea.
Yeah.
Different than the beach ball. The beach ball's on the other side.
And they were all just planned to be like actual things. Like the beach ball was supposed to be Henry Pissed Dog.
Yes.
The phone, I don't know what the phone was, but something a flower.
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower, yeah. The hot dog was supposed to be a woman. You know, it's just like there's always, they hire in one guy every year to do a really good car.
Yeah. Oh,
And they start off
obviously
with the
all
car.
the car stuff is good, you know.
This is a wheel. It's a wrench. You know, those they can handle. This is a lug nut. It's a bolt.
Yeah, I like the idea that there needs to be random car parts still throughout. Like, there's some elegant car parts, but it's like like a golden shiny wrench on a planter. There's like a fancy like golden tire that you can sit on as like a seat.
Maybe they have like a fairy garden. That's the story is there's a bunch of fairies who broke into a mechanic and they built a bunch of little objects out of it. That would actually be really cute. I would actually quite like that.
That is actually very adorable, and
that's one of the good parts of the park. That's one of the good. I think they nail that.
Yeah, they're so good. Yeah, and then again, you can get that in the gift shop.
Maybe that's one of the places that has extra funding because of the thing, and it's like this is kind of good.
And then that's where the worms go.
The worms go in the old mechanic fairy garden.
So it's like,
guys,
they're like
it's simple. You have to go past the iPhone hedge, turn left, go past the poison thing, then you'll get to the mechanical fairy garden with the iPhone. Then when you go up the hill a little more, you'll make it into the greenhouse, which is currently pea-themed. If you go through there, then you can finally get to the restroom and the peatery. It's simple.
There has to be postcards of this.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, you're going to want a postcard.
Well, even
Send
you
it
don't
to
want
your
a
friends.
postcard of Henry Pizdog mean mugging on all the different places.
Oh, my gosh. You know it. It's so
You get the
good.
Henry Pizdog calendar.
They just have T-shirts of the used car lot. They're just like, hey, it's pretty fun. Just randomly in the corner. There's like baseball hats. Yeah, just there's a whole corner of like, it's like, oh, like, because you come from the area and you're like, oh, I kind of forgot, even though there's like a lot of stuff I keep forgetting, this is for like a corporate used car lot chain kind of thing. And it's like, this is weird. And they're like anti-electric car.
One last note, they do sell those car stickers. That's Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes pissing on things, except it's Henry Pizdog. That's just they just sell those. What else do we have to discuss? Because I feel like, do we want to talk about the children's garden? I mean, I feel like maybe that's what the fairy thing is, though. I feel like maybe
I think that's good. How about like, I just think of like cacti and like I don't know, like there's so much. I don't know why. I was like, sand? That's not needed.
Maybe they have a little area that's like, these tires are so strong, even cacti can't puncture it.
Oh, yeah. A lot of injuries happen there.
They did a show one time that was putting up cars and running them into cactuses. And of course, the cactuses got fucking decimated. And a lot of people were like, hey, guys, this feels a little much. This feels a little much.
Mazda 93 vrooming around, hitting
like
the
cacti. Like a stunt
cacti.
show, but only with cactus.
Yeah.
And then it was revealed they were fake. Believe it or not, they were a scandal. Scandal.
Gosh. Horrible.
Which actually I think would be better than them being real, actually, because then they'd at least be reusable, hopefully.
Well, Henry Pizdog kept peeing on one of the real cactuses, and then, my God, the best peyote ever to be.
The Dog with the Golden Piss. It's a documentary coming out with Vice in 3 years.
God. That would be so good. The little story of a little dog with a big secret. I'm so enamored by him.
The president.
I think people have severe allergies in here because I don't know if like the airflow works. There might be a room of like, these are the plants that give you mass allergies. And for some reason they're like, do you want to go in there? Like stargazer
like it's a
lilies.
haunted house.
Yeah. It's a haunted house. It's like these
This
plants.
is your sinuses. What's really scary are sinus issues.
Ooh, this is where our hornets live and our wasps.
It's an ad for Claritin. The Hay Fever Haunted House, sponsored by Claritin.
Oh, you get a free sample once you go. You have to go through the whole thing and stay there for at least 15 minutes. Come out, and if your eyes are stinging, you know you're winning. I feel like, that is the one downside of gardens is there's always a spooky amount of things that can sting you.
Yeah.
That can cause fear for some people. And it would be wild. There is a wasp called the Black Hawk wasp.
Oh, I hate those.
My friend got stung by one, and apparently it's one of the most painful wasp stings you can get. Yeah, this happened to her while we were on the world's most... We got lost and ended up doing an 11-mile hike in a state park, and we were doing the thing where we were joking, but it was like, this is entering a problem. Like, we might be lost, and this could be not good. But we were going off across the world's ricketiest bridge thinking we were going to die, and she screamed and ran away, and I was like, oh my God, it's falling. We're going to die. And we both screamed and ran for like half a mile, and then she's like, I got stung. And I was like, by what? And she's like, I think it was this black wasp. But I was like, are you gonna die? Put your hand up, get the blood flow away from it. So they have a medic person on hand, which you don't usually think about.
Those, because that's spooking. I just read the Wikipedia and I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, not those. But maybe there's just like a lot. I mean, make sure you have your tetanus shot before you walk in here. There's a lot of rust.
There is.
There's so much rust.
What do we think the dark ride was? I don't think the dark ride's open anymore, but it wasn't great. I think it was a few seasons. Maybe I don't know if it was a dark ride. Maybe it was like a train ride or something. I feel like a dark ride doesn't make sense. We'll save the dark ride for ride. We'll leave the anticipation era for when we finally get to make a dark ride. When we do the theme park, that's going to be like an 8-episode series. There's no we can't do that in one episode.
Pumped.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole thing.
A thing. I like the idea of maybe they try to make it educational. They're like, this plant, just like our cars, runs efficiently.
Exactly.
From, blah, blah, blah,
cars, yeah.
And it's like these really sad poster boards that are like someone wrote by hand some facts, and then they have some things. But they're playing like silly little music, but it's mostly the delight of, if anyone has been to the train museum in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's a nice one of those, like it's a pretty fancy little train. Yeah. But you are sitting on it and you are like in your full cart kind of thing. But I like that. I think that's
And you just go around in a big circle, but you go in a tunnel and everyone goes, whoa! Kind of keep it up. But we also saw it when it was dressed up with a bunch of skeletons and stuff, and it was incredible.
So good. There's
still a video. I mean, that was like one of the first days we met. We rode that train together. And I have the video of that ride set to Send in the Clowns.
Yes.
It felt so good. It was one of the best experiences.
Good. Oh my God. I love the train. I like the idea that Henry the Piss Dog will wear a little conductor's hat sometimes and he'll sit up front.
Yeah.
I like that we went from they hate the dog to like they kind of like the dog, but there's someone who still like hates dogs, and they're like, Henry the Piss Dog isn't a dog. He's more. he's the garden gnome. It's one of the big like plot twists within the documentary. It's like you think of someone who adopts a senior dog and you're like, oh, that's so sweet. And they're like, I needed to show people because they're obviously this person who runs it is one of those people. They were hired by the used car lot and they're annoyed at everything. And they're one of those people that has a very fancy lawn and they care a lot about their lawn. But there are people that walk their dogs and their dogs will pee in their lawn and their grass turns yellow and they have huge beef with it.
Right.
Huge beef with it. There are some scary signs people put out about dogs. Like I get it sometimes. If you have a sidewalk and it's that little side area, whatever, and a dog pees, they're like, pick up the poop. Yeah. But if a dog pees, it's gonna be fine. I get it. But there are some ones that like, I live in South Carolina. People have like a Confederate flag and they're like, get your dog off my fucking grass. I'm like, am I gonna get shot? I don't like this.
I will say, I think this is what happens in the documentary. It's like, I got this dog to teach everybody else about the dangers of dog pits, but really, he's the one that's taught me.
Oh, and then maybe they do start doing adoption Saturdays.
Oh, for senior dogs. Guys, they redeem themselves.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
Okay, actually, guys,
it's
really still cute. At the place that has the peatery, so just remember that. But
yes, it's still fucked up. It's still corporate. They're still pushing,
Yeah.
It just all this shit you don't care about. They're pro fracking, but at the end of the day,
there's the fracking field. They found out this whole thing was built because they just wanted to get the oil. Holy shit! That's how this happened.
But nobody knows.
Covertly trying to get oil. That's what's happening.
Liquid gold. And everyone thinks they're just talking about Henry Piss Dog. So it's all a cover.
This is what the documentary reveals in the last 40 minutes.
Oh my God. And then you have to wait till next season to learn more about that.
It's like the jinx.
It's like the jinx. And the microphone's still on and they hear them talking. They're like, should I have done that? I don't know. What do you mean? I think they know about the oil.
Season ends.
Oh my God. That's so good. Oh, that is so fucking good. And I think that's a beautiful way to put a little bow on this. I think so.
Because, I mean, what else are we going to do? Maybe we'll follow up with the exchange of power that's inevitably going to happen with when the documentary goes live.
Yeah.
Because Clatfartburg will be pursuing legal action. This town does not fuck around.
God,
no town uses the common courts like Clatfartburg.
That's going to cost so much. Oh, my God. That's so amazing.
And we know Clatfartburg has an extreme environmentalist tinge who will be very upset about this. As we know, the climate change-based hockey game.
Yes.
They love it. They care for it, you know?
They care about their otters. They care about their fish. You're not allowed to go fishing.
Exactly. There's so many layers to this.
You can't eat seafood.
God, wow. Okay. Wow. I love Henry Pissdog. He's one of my new favorites. It's like we have a little mascot every episode, it feels like. We've been creating a lot
family.
of sidekicks the last few episodes.
We have.
We have Sinaster, Leon Neon,
yes.
Henry Pissdog, lots of stuff. Should we do our little listener headcanon? Well, first we have a shout out for a new member. I want to apologize because our email forwarding wasn't set up correctly, and I thought it was. Whoopsies, that's on me. But we have a new member. Their name is Kyron BBF. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. My apologies if not. But thank you so much for becoming a citizen of Clatfartburg. And if you want to join them over there, it's on Clatfartburg.com. But we also have our listener headcanon, and if you want to send anything in, anything you think about, just a little note that we think, or even something we can discuss for a minute or two, just throw it our way because we like to talk about it because we don't have a ton left. So, but this one is from our listener, Adeline. They said maybe there are hidden Krispies, like how there are hidden Mickeys in the Disney park. And I actually think this is a location where they would do that because they couldn't legally get the rights to Crispy. So they're trying to become more of a part of Clatfartburg anywhere else. Because I'm not sure if that's in the town. I think the town... isn't that it gets a little too secret society and culty for me if there's hidden Krispies everywhere, you know what I mean? Like this whole place is not
it needs
a theme
to be
park, but I think
in a specific location.
This place, who does not have the license to Crispy, did do a bit of a hidden Crispy thing to try and ingratiate themselves to the town, you know?
Yeah. Some of them are gone forever and will not be found for hundreds of years. And they'll go, what kind of creature lived here? The oil clearly changed the DNA, and it's just this little, like, faded pewter. They're like, but they did a really good job on the inside and made them have a whole skeleton and everything unnecessarily.
Wait, so you're picturing? I was just picturing like flower arrangements in the shape of Krispies, and you're just picturing like real fish.
Oh, kind of like the little baby statue kind of things,
okay.
But they for some reason made it really weird on the inside, in a way that doesn't need to happen. But I love that listener headcanon, and I'm glad that we in a way ruined it. One.
So. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, if you want any more bonus content from us, you can go to Clatfartburg.com. You can join our little membership and check out the stuff on there, or get stuff a la carte. Do whatever you want. Have fun. If you could share the podcast with your friends, spread the joys of Clatfartburg, and be our tourist department.
We're open to tourists.
Yeah, be a tourist. Have your friends visit. Have your friends visit town. That's a fun. We should say that. Have your friends visit town and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, but pretend it's Yelp. That actually would be awesome. Actually, hold on. If we want to start, we could start reading out podcast reviews, but they have to be reviews like they're Yelp reviews of places.
Oh my God.
I would absolutely love that. That would make me
this is
so
a new
happy.
thing. Pretend like it's like a bed and you can pretend you went to Hunch for lunch, you went to a bed and breakfast or something.
You went to the botanical garden. Has to be a 5-star review. Don't go in fiction and make it a 1-star review because that would hurt us.
Please don't.
Please don't. But make it a 5-star review and then talk about whatever you want. Pretend you want one of the Clatfartburg locations, and if you do, we might read it out. That could be fun. Because I'm like, I always want a way to read 5-star reviews, but that actually is a really genuinely fun one.
Yeah. Felicia and I talked about, like, when we were starting this, we want people to be confused about if this is a real town or not.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like, you'll know it's a podcast, but it's like, the Instagram feed speaks as though it's a town. And
where everything is like pretending it's a fiction. Like, I don't want all of our comments to be like, I visited this town and I had an awful time. But I want like 60% to be, Yeah,
I want people to be a little confused.
I want it to be a little confusing, but not enough for them to be turned off by it.
Because, I don't know how many people have themed podcast reviews.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
I love this idea.
They're not going to get anything else out of it. So just, hey, if you want to do that, Give us
It'd be fun. We'll read it out.
It'd be fun. We'll read it out. And don't put it under 5 stars because we won't read it out then. We have to do this. We have to hold you hostage. I'm sorry.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, that's how this works.
That's how it works in this town.
That's how it works in this fucking business. We're not happy about it, but it's how it fucking
That's
works.
how it goes down, kid, okay?
All right. Well, now that we've given you homework, thanks so much for listening.
And visiting.
Did
we just finally come out with the outro?
Oh my god. Thanks so much for listening and visiting. Only took us a fucking... I want us to do our shit outros, though, because I think it's fun. I like having a plot.
Thank you for visiting, and don't wear sandals.
Don't wear sandals. You will be kicked out. Henry Piss Dog will pee on your fucking toes if you don't wear shoes. Your
toes will become marijuana.
We will not refund your tickets.
Not at all.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.